Hi, my name is Justin. I'm from Poodle, and I'm going to be talking about Poodle MiniLesson. This is a presentation that I gave at the Moodle Moot Japan 2026 a few days ago, and I'll be showing you how we can use MiniLesson to create 4 skills language lessons in one AI-powered plugin. Poodle is a Moodle certified integration. This plugin is used by a lot of schools around the world. It's not free, and if you're interested in learning more about it, please visit us at poodle.com, or you can try it out yourself at demo.poodle.com. So the main thing that Poodle does is we add language learning tools to Moodle. By default, Moodle has everything out of the gate. It has enrollment features, it has a gradebook, it has quizzes, it has assignments. But some of those specific things that a language teacher might need, they are provided by tools like ours, which is a set of plugins for language teachers. So let's go and have a look at a Poodle MiniLesson just to kind of get an idea about what this thing is before I go and actually explain in detail. So it's a lesson which has steps. In this case, the lesson has 5 steps. And the first step is to watch this short video. I'm just going to make my screen a little bit small so we can get it all on one page.
Miss Lane, a school teacher, started a new project. She
In this
wanted her
case,
class
it's a
to learn about
slideshow that's been
life
created
outside the city.
with audio accompanying
This
the
is your
pictures.
opportunity to see how people live and work, she said. The bus stopped at a farm site. A sign said, "Welcome visitors."
So let's, without finishing it, let's just go to the next page and see the next activity. And this is called a C test, or a passage gap fill. And we should listen to the audio and fill in the gaps. Let's just do 1 or 2 of those.
Ms. Lane, a school teacher, started a new project. She
We can drop
wanted
the
her class
speed
to
down
learn about life outside
and
the
go
city.
back and forward
Started
through
a new
the
project.
audio.
She wanted her class to learn about life outside the city. This is your opportunity to see how people live and work, she said.
It'll give us the answers there for those students who didn't complete all of them. They can see what they did need to get. And then the next one, the third one, is a fluency item. So in this case,
Ms. Lane, a school teacher, started a new project.
in this case, we should repeat what we've just heard, and it will give us some feedback on our pronunciation. And then we have a passage reading exercise. We should read the passage aloud. Ms. Lane, a school teacher, started a new project. She wanted her class to learn about outside the city. And that will pick up the words that we spoke and the words that we missed, or the words that it couldn't catch, and give the students some feedback on that. A free speaking activity, and here the students should just talk freely about the topic, and we'll try to evaluate their speaking. It might give us feedback in Japanese because it's been set to work with Japanese students. I think schools should take their students to farms because that's a good experience for them. And farms have lots of nice animals, and children like animals. And farms, they can learn about food and how food is made. So I think it's good. And that will go through, take a short time to process our speaking, and then give us an instant feedback and evaluation on that. Okay, so there's our result. Of course, I didn't make too many mistakes. We're not seeing very many mistakes, but it has given us our feedback in Japanese and a nice score. And on the final page, we get the full evaluation. Okay. Great, so that's what MiniLesson looks like, and let's go and learn more about that. So Poodle Languages, which is the package that Poodle MiniLesson is a part of, has 3 other plugins: Read Aloud, Word Cards, and Solo. Read Aloud is an oral reading tool. Word Cards is something like Quizlet inside Moodle. It's a flashcards or a vocabulary learning activity. And Solo, it's a speaking activity, a free speaking activity, where we give the students feedback and an evaluation on their speaking. But as we've just seen, many of those features are now in MiniLesson. So what we can do in Read Aloud, Solo, and Word Cards, we can do to some extent also in MiniLesson. And there are also widgets that we've had in Poodle in the past for dictation and shadowing and other activities that didn't really have a home where they had a grade or a completion because they didn't really justify a full plugin. But we've taken all that functionality and put that into MiniLesson as items, so we can actually build very customized, flexible, and useful mini lessons. Now, what's the benefit of using MiniLesson over using all of those other tools? Well, actually, all of those other tools are actually still good, so you can use them. But with MiniLesson, you've got a consistent user experience. It all looks the same. It all works the same. You can combine the different skills that are scattered around the different activities and plugins in Moodle into one learning unit, one lesson. And there's a lot of economies of scale in terms of like how we provide AI to the system, how we provide authoring, how we provide backup and restore, and how we reuse existing content. So Poodle MiniLesson, it's a very feature-rich and very useful plugin. The different item types that we've got: multi-choice audio, dictation. I won't list all of them. I think you can see them here. But if you visit the demo.poodle.com site, you'll be able to try them, and I think you'll probably find that they're very useful. In particular, the fancy AI new ones include audio chat over here, and fluency, and speaking gapful, and free writing and free speaking. So how do we make these items? Okay, so there are 3 ways. You can build your own lessons from scratch. You can select from a library of pre-made templates, or you can generate content automatically with AI. I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to start with generating content automatically with AI because that takes a short time to complete. So while we're waiting for that to finish, we'll look at the other 2. So let's go back to our course. And I've already created an empty mini lesson here. And we've got this AI Generate tab here. And this is where we choose from a set of template lessons that have been created for us. So we've got an audio story, which will start with an audio story like the story of the children who visited the farm in the school bus, and then a series of activities that follow that audio story based on the audio story. We have a passage reading activity where we give the template a list of keywords in a topic, and it will prepare a passage of text and reading and speaking activities based on that. And a lot of other different templates. We're going to use this one here, word practice, where we give it 5 words or more, and Poodle will make a short activity for students to practice those words. So here is our form that we need to fill in. I've already prepared some words for us just to speed things up a little bit. So let's just take 5 of those words, because we did say 5, but it could be more actually. And choose a CEF level, so let's choose A2. I'm sorry, the words go here. Also the native language of the learners is Japanese. And the topic is a story. So what kind of story will we create using these words? The more detail we give it, the closer it'll get to being what we want it to be. But I suggest we use something like this. A mouse visits his cousin who lives in the country, for example. The more detail you give it, the better. So that's really not a great example, but okay, great. Now that's going to go into the processing queue to be sent off to AI, images generated, audio generated, and returned to us. So it takes a minute or 2 for that to happen. In the meantime, we'll go and look at some other parts of the mini lesson creation features. So here's another empty mini lesson, and in this case, we're not going to AI generate. We're just going to choose from ready-made lessons from the lesson bank. And if we choose the language and give it a keyword, it will choose lessons from the lesson bank, and we can import those into our mini lesson. Now, I will say we don't actually have very many lessons on the lesson bank currently. That's as of March 2026. So hopefully in 1 year's time, there'll be a lot more. For now, this is more of a technology demonstration and something that's going to come along soon. So in this case, I click on import, and that will process for a few seconds, and then the lesson will be imported into our empty mini lesson. Okay, so that has happened. Let's go and have a look at our lesson. So it starts with a story.
A young man was driving his truck on a mountain road. He had
On the next page, we'll have passage gap fill, similar to what we saw last time. In this case, we've got a multi-choice question, but each of the multi-choice questions has an image associated with it. We've got a regular multi-choice question, listen and speak activity,
A young man was driving his truck on a mountain road.
and so it goes on. So that's how you would create a lesson using the lesson bank. Let's go and see how our AI image generation is coming along. Okay, so that's still processing, it's still at 20%. In the meantime, let's see how we create lesson items manually. So in the lesson items list, because we've previously created a lesson by importing, we've got all these items here, but if I remove those, remove all of them, okay, now we have an empty mini lesson again. If I click add new item, I have a list of items that I can add to my mini lesson. So the one that's selected there is a content page. We also have multiple choice, dictation, speech cards, listen and speak. So let's choose, for example, listening gap fill. And then we have a settings page for our listening gap fill activity. In the gap fill activity, we simply type in a sentence and add a gap like that. This is my dog. This is my hedgehog. And gap out part of the word like that. And that is what will be shown to the student with the gaps, of course, and we can choose a prompt speaker's voice here. If we want to associate images, we just add an image called 1.jpg or 1.png, and that will be associated with the first sentence. Similarly, we can add our own audio, 1.mp3 or 2.mp3, and that will be associated with the first or the second sentence. If we save that, we can preview it. Might take just a second to generate the audio. Okay. And
This is my dog.
This is my dog, and we'd fill in the words, fill the blanks like that.
This is my hedgehog.
Okay, so that's how we would create one manually, and we've seen how to create them with AI generation and with lesson banks, but let's go and see if our AI generated lesson is ready yet, and it is. Good, let's go and have a look. So here are the words we're going to practice: themselves, action, please, true, detail. We start with listening gap fill.
They looked at themselves in the mirror before going out.
Okay, so excellent, if we skip that one.
The movie was full of exciting action scenes.
Okay, of course action was one of our words, so
Could you please help me with my homework?
okay, great. So getting very nice pictures and a nice activity that's been made for us just from those key words.
Is it true that you have a pet dog?
I jump to the next screen, we've got a typing gap fill, which is similar, but in this case there's no audio associated with it. We have a space game, and because our native language is Japanese, we'll see detail and the words associated with detail, which are Japanese, so I'm probably going to get this wrong. Okay, so I died. And finally, we've got a free writing activity. So this is similar to the free speaking activity that we did earlier, but the student has to write their response, and we'll give them an evaluation and some feedback on their writing. And because the native language was set for Japanese, they'll see the feedback in Japanese. So that is how we create the items, either from scratch, or from choosing from the library of pre-made templates, or generating them automatically using AI. So that's a quick introduction to Poodle MiniLesson, 4 skilled language lessons in one AI-powered plugin. I hope it was interesting, and if you want to learn more about that, send me an email to justin@poodle.com or visit demo.poodle.com, and you can try all the things you've seen here today. You can try those at demo.poodle.com.